Hola. As many of you know, recently the initiative has taken some pretty serious blows, and we've been set back in a big way because of it. Most recently, just a few hours ago, in fact, the so-called hacktivists, who we believe they were, that we thought we had done away with, actually launched another assault. This time, honestly, I'd forgotten about them, but I did at one point kind of go over their heads and go to the people that I believed they might have been employed with, this so-called anonymous group, or at least the local chapter of it, and I spoke with somebody who, claimed to be a representative of them. They're a fractured organization. There's no telling who you're talking to with them, whether or not they're organized in any way whatsoever. But from what I've been told, the people that were acting against us were just renegades. They were, we happened to dismiss a member of the initiative, and she contacted some old friends from them, which we have a history with these people. The initiative has a history with these people, the local chapter. That there's no need to get into that. It's not important, and it's nobody's business but ours. But nothing secretive, nothing hidden. If you ask about it, I'll tell you, but I'm not gonna, post it on fucking YouTube. But I went directly to them that I know of, and according to them, these people just kind of ganged up, a little clique of them, maybe a handful, and attacked us. And I guess they must have got pissed off because I went over their heads. And so they launched another attack, this time shutting down all my communications outside of this particular telephone. The only real communication I have with any of you guys now is these little clips running across the bottom of the screen here, Messenger, Facebook, this single telephone. So that does slow us down quite a bit. It puts a hole in our enterprise. It fucks us up pretty bad. But I mean, that's about the gist of it. That's as far as you guys are gonna go. Those of you who have been conducting this business, that are watching, it's far too fucking late, man. I told you guys already. You're way too slow. I mean, the contingencies have been put in place a long time ago. I only went over your heads because I wanted to make sure that my intuition was right in thinking that you guys are just a bunch of assholes jacking off on your own time. And yes, of course, that is the case. You guys are just, you can go on and go about your business and leave us alone. Nobody cares about you anymore. Okay, it's what's done is done and gone, and everything's been taken care of. There's not really a whole hell of a lot you can do other than continue to hinder us, bother us, aggravate us. And I'll be quite honest with you. I don't have full control over status and the networking of this organization. I direct as best I can, and people have a respect for that direction. But if you piss the wrong people off here, they might take action, and they know who you are. I can't stop them. So please, just cut it the fuck out. It's really, you're kind of like ringing the doorbell and running away now. It's pointless. At this point, nothing. You're not really doing damage anymore. You're just annoying me. So, anyways, we took some other hits with people coming in, kind of interlopers invading. Covert saboteurs joining the group for the purposes of getting a foothold in here, and getting in good enough just to cause a little bit of damage and run off. And again, just knocking on the door and running. It's stupid, childish nonsense. Nothing really to be worried about. However, it did set us back to the point where this last cycle was blown, and we've had to kind of fracture. And we're gonna as I mentioned already, we're going to restructure the whole thing. We're going to get a domain. That's in the works. We're going to get a domain. We're going to make our own website. It's going to be our own thing outside of Facebook. The Facebook page will remain as a recruiting tool, as it's always meant to have been. And we're going to be able to compartmentalize everything for the most part, so we can have a creative faction, just for artworks. We can have the training program, we can have the projects, we can have the campaigns. Everything can be compartmentalized and run by different operatives as I would like for it to be, and I'll no longer have to be, the sole director of everything, which I really hope to get taken care of a long while back with the very first person that, kind of put a wrench in our works when I was training him to take over as a temporary director. And that wasn't his fault. He's just on, and he happened to be, the premier, the vanguard of this particular project that I'm hoping to speak to right here, which really just the whole thing was a fiasco. We had no proper structuring here, and we're gonna take everything that's solid. We're gonna take the projects that are in play, the campaigns that are in play. We're gonna take the themes will remain, of course, but for the most part now, uh, the theme kind of became depressive and dark and downset, considering everybody, people coming in, sneaking in just to harm us, and everything, drama, back talk, bullshit, this sort of thing that we had always hoped to avoid. It started happening, and so that's really why we got to shut the whole thing down and start over, because we can't have that. It's not a good groundwork to work from. We had done so well up until now without that, and then it steps in and becomes a problem. And it had a lot to do with us beginning to go public and getting into syndication and whatnot. So I mean, it comes with the territory, but we're gonna figure out a way to get around that for the most part. In any case, as far as themes go for now, since the theme had become dark and depressive and was getting me really down, making me feel awful, and everything went bust on my end for the time being, uh, Randy went ahead and took it upon himself to introduce the temporary theme of comedy, which thank you for that, Randy. That was awesome, and it did help a lot. It is helping a lot, and it brought on the concept that we can kind of just leave the page as it stands, the Facebook page group, in a state of free fall. Make it a free for all. Anybody that wishes to introduce a theme, go ahead and do it. Introduce a theme. If a theme's been introduced that day before yours, then yours will take effect the following day. Any theme that's introduced first theme of the day will take effect then and remain throughout the course of that day and until somebody else presents another theme. And I'm issuing this as a kind of a contest, as an experiment, a coordination experiment, because I'm willing to bet you anything that if you present a theme, not only will the circumstances and interests of the members, not only will the word of the day and other such things that correspond with the themes as usual correspond with the theme that you present, not only will that happen, but I'll bet my ass on it that it will already have lined up with it before you even introduce it. Let's do this as a coordination experiment. See if the world really is at our back, because I guess I haven't proven it enough yet to you guys. What with giving you fucking rewards for posting from the universe, and arranging for synchronicities to transpire, showing you point of fact that everything lines up with the themes line up, the members line, everything lines up. Just give it a shot now. Test it. Test me. Test the initiative. See how it works out. In any case, the page will be left in a state of free fall there for the members to take over and do as you wish with, and I hope you do, and I hope you have fun with that. And we are going to be focusing on the recruitment campaign within the coming weeks. The recruitment campaign on two fronts. We're going to be focusing on two primary areas where we know that we're going to find the people we're looking for. Well, three fronts really, because we'll be focusing on YouTube as well, going to certain YouTube channels and focusing on recruiting from there. So two different areas, spatial areas, and one, primary internet place, I guess you would call it. And we're going to be focusing on getting the domain functioning and working with Project Philanthropy so that we can build a funding for all of this, and to get this funded to back events and to back, whatever requires funding, and also, you know, to give incentive to people for participating, and especially for training. Because I mean, I don't know what else to say. The training is free. It's purely beneficial. There is no negative aspect to it. It's purely positive, purely beneficial. The only negative aspect that could come out of any of it is if somebody took it and used it to do harm. And believe me, it's not going to work out for you if you do. I mean, you might get a boost, you might get a little instant gratification, you know, playing tricks on people, but it's gonna bite you in the ass. So, I mean, if you don't follow protocol, you're gonna get screwed. That if you, as long as you follow protocol, everything will work out. And if you're following protocol, nothing negative can happen. That's how it's arranged. It's, you know, designed that way. So it's really an ingenious design. It's very simple, but it's, you'd be surprised how intricate it can actually get when you play around with it. In any case, I'm going to continue to make videos, of course, as I'm inspired to. And I'm going to push myself to do it because I've been kind of depressed lately, and I need to do that. I need to get some oomph here to get going. But I'm going to be focusing on trying to launch two primary programs now. Well, three primary programs, really. I'm going to revamp the garden program, which is going to be the purely creative, artistic aspect, but it's also going to be the platform for everything else. And that is going to be created as a special gift for a special someone, as a special surprise. But I'm also going to be focusing on recruiting elite psychonauts, experienced, gifted psychonauts, travelers, for the sake of creating a group of you know, an elite group for the Remnants of Tomorrow project, which or the Remnants of Tomorrow program, rather, I'd like to call it. I think that sounds better, but and I'll explain why it's called the Remnants of Tomorrow, because the general concept is that at the boundary, out there at the edges of the never, you know, in the psychic world, outside of, well, it's not outside of material, it is material, it's all material, everything's physical, but it's you know, out there on the fringes of existence, at the edge of comprehension, something is being created, something is there. And there's a widely known theory in our clique, you know, that in our circle, there's, or in our network, there's a widely known theory that perhaps the God entity is something that is evolving, maturing, it's being created. It isn't actually at the origin, and time mechanics fully supports this. What we know from our experience of time mechanics supports that the reason exists first, that, you know, the resulting product of a process is in fact its origin, and the process itself is an explanation created, unfolding outward from the time. The point of origin exists here now. It's not in the future, it's not in the past, it is what it is, and then time unfolds around it. So we observe time, or we perceive time from an inverted perspective, and we'll get into all of that. And that's full. It's not just explained theoretically or hypothetically. It's, you can actually observe this if you become capable of observing four dimensions. It's something that you can actually see happen. So we're gonna get there, you know. But ultimately, the idea is that perhaps we are, you know, humanity is evolving into something, into this God figure, and we're gonna test that theory, and we're gonna see if we can't make contact with this something and find out for sure. Because time exists, time is, it's already happened. All of this is already, it's already done. You know, every different possible configuration of time is already happened, and so there is in fact an end result existing, and we're going to try and make contact with it. We're going to try and make communicate with it. Also, there's a theory circulating now that perhaps transmissions can be sent backward through time, that people can receive transmissions in the past, and that perhaps we're receiving transmissions from the future, and this we happen to know to be authentic. We've experimented with this and we found positive results, and yes, that is in fact the case. So we're going to harness that technology. We're going to try and master this technology, and we're going to bring it to light. So hence we are this vanguard going into this project to essentially reverse engineer this technology. We are the remnants of tomorrow, and that's the title, and that's the purpose of it. Also, I would like to state that I intend to launch an investigatory committee. This status initiative has always been an investigative panel, um, especially the directive and the foundation. We've done investigations. We've been investigating all of the stuff that we have been investigating and experimenting with all of the stuff that we teach, all of the stuff that we share. Everything that we try to give you guys, everything that we try to get across is tried and tested. It's proven. We've experienced it. If we tell you that something is a theory or hypothetical, then that's what it is. But if we don't, if we tell you something is, it is. We've proven it. It may be a little out there, but I think you might be surprised how commonplace the things you think are far out are. In any case, we're going to launch explicitly an investigatory panel that's going to be a team of elitist investigators, people we're going to put together that are spotters that are very keen, operatives that are very, very sharp and fast and capable of investigating certain matters to an extreme extent. And we're going to take requests on this. This is going to be for the sake of funding us funding Project Philanthropy, as it were, funding the whole thing going forward. And by funding, I mean bringing in an audience, not necessarily money. If anybody wants to help us monetarily speaking, you're welcome to do it, but we fully intend to take care of all of that for you guys, and we're never going to ask you to pay us anything for any of our services or for anything that we, entertainment services, anything that we provide, training. It's all free. It's always going to be free. We're never going to charge anything. However, we are going to be requiring assistance, and we already have run into people who are willing to sponsor us, and we're going to need people to sponsor us. And so, again, we're not going to ask for it, but we are going to acquire it. And this investigatory panel is going to be precisely for the sake of that. We will be taking requests on whatever you wish for us to investigate. Anything. If you want us to do the legwork on whatever mysteries grab your attention, we'll do that. And there's a very good chance we already have done a lot of it. I mean, most of it we have, and within throughout the framework of our network, chances are we've covered just about everything already. But there are a few weird things out there that I've come across lately that we haven't heard of before and are interesting. So we're going to look into it. And, most especially people that are going to be involved with the imperative, who have specific difficulties that they're dealing with, or specific problems or taskings, scenarios that are personal to them. We will assist with that. It's free of charge. All that we ask is to help promote us, to get us out there, to help build this thing so that we can get a kind of a following going, and have spiritual funding going into the future. That's what we need. That's all we need. We just need you guys to get caring, to get interested. That we don't need your money. We want your attention. We want you to care. We want you to be invested, involved. We need investment, real solid investments of value, not money. Value. So we're going to be working towards that, and please feel free to launch any requests you want immediately, and we'll get to work on it. We already have enough people to get started. The directive is fully into it. I'm sure I haven't really. I kind of went ahead with this on my own, but they're my people. They're my directive. It's my team. So if I tell them we're gonna do this, then they're gonna be down with it. It's not, as long as I don't tell them to go out and hurt people, I'm sure they're gonna be fine with it. And I'm never gonna do that. We're not some kind of a, whatever it is. A lot of people think a lot of weird things about us, but we're just a group of people that want to do good and want to get together and have some fun and do good for the world and create a better future for everyone. And we need help to do that. We need your guys' help to do that. So hopefully you guys will get active here in the near future. You guys are going to get active eventually. I'll see to it. I'm a damn fine director, and I'm going to do the best job I can, and things are going to get done here. I'm sorry that we've had such a huge setback recently. And I'll take the blame for that, as I'm taking the hits for it as well. And I suppose that's about as much as I can say at the moment. Like I said, what I intend to call the investigatory panel is the keepers of the boundary. So the keepers of the boundary will launch any investigations and commit to any projects that you give us. We'll fight for any cause. We will help you do anything you ask. We will essentially be the vanguard of the status imperative, which will be dedicated to specific personal problems and issues that you guys might have. Which, that's how this all started. The members all had personal problems and difficulties that I helped counsel them with, and that's how we got this whole thing going and built a family here. So we're gonna make that, a core key issue at the front of everything from here on. And that those three projects, remnants of tomorrow, recruiting for that, getting it going, which we've already gone ahead and started with that. We're not presenting our results yet, but we will soon. Our findings. To the garden program, which it's going to take a little work to get started, but it shouldn't be too difficult. And the keepers of the boundary, which we're ready and waiting. Give us a direction to go in. In any case, I'd like to dedicate all of this, everything we're doing, everything we've ever done, and especially from here on going into the future, I'd like to dedicate this to one of our premier, most most amazing benefactors, um, Art Bell, who passed away recently, earlier this month on the 13th. He was he was the real deal Holyfield, man. He got this whole thing started. He's pretty much got the network up and running between Coast to Coast and the other Fade to Black and Midnight in the Desert, the other radio broadcasting programs and alternative news networks. Uh, just about everything that has come of this, and how the status initiative has been influenced and is growing. It came from that single man, and he's gonna be missed. I'm like trying not to cry about it here, but he was a great man, and I'm very sad to have lost him, but he's with us in spirit, and I'm certain he's with us in other capacities as well. And who knows, with the remnants of tomorrow, Vanguard, hitting the threshold and going beyond, who knows, maybe we will run into him again. So I don't know. Thank you for this time. I hope you guys get interested, especially with the investigatory panel. And I hope you guys give us some ideas to work with, because that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll try to come up with something on our own to deal with in the meantime, to kind of get you guys interested if you aren't ready to pitch something yet. But anything you want, man, anything you want, pitch an idea and we'll run with it. I love you guys. Thank you again for the time. Uh, Everything's gonna work out just fine. So don't you guys worry. We're on top of it all. We took some hits. We got dropped for a second, but we're getting right back up on our feet. We bounce back as we always do. We're gonna take care of business here in no time. So, Kila Salai, Terve Uni Siari. Namaste.